On June 25, 2004, a single line of code launched a social experiment that would capture the hearts of an entire continent and become the digital playground for millions, only to vanish almost entirely a decade later. Orkut, Google's early foray into social networking, burst onto the scene with a promise to connect friends, families, and strangers alike. Yet by 2014, the platform had been eclipsed, its once vibrant communities reduced to ghost towns and nostalgic memes. The story begins in the bustling corridors of Google's Mountain View campus, where two engineers, Sanjay Chandra and Orkut Buyukurktan, set out to build a social search engine. Their ambition was simple: merge the power of Google's search algorithms with the emerging desire for people to share snippets of their lives online. When Orkut went live on January 21, 2004, it was an invitation to meet new people and stay in touch, a modest tagline that would soon become a rallying cry for a generation hungry for connection. In Brazil, the platform struck a cultural chord that no other service had managed. By 2005, more than half of Brazilian internet users had an Orkut profile, and the site's iconic scrapbooks, public, comment-driven posts, became a daily ritual for teenagers, college students, and even corporate professionals. The site's simple design, profiles, friends, communities, allowed users to create groups around anything from regional football clubs to obscure hobbyist interests. The Comunidades feature turned the platform into a living directory of Brazil's social fabric, where a user could type São Paulo and instantly find thousands of neighborhoods, schools, and fan clubs gathering in a single virtual square. India, too, fell under Orkut's spell. In a country still grappling with limited broadband infrastructure, the site's lightweight architecture made it accessible even on dial-up connections. By 2007, India boasted over 30 million Orkut users, and the platform became a primary venue for diaspora communities to stay linked with family back home. In a landscape where Facebook was still a distant concept, Orkut was the first place many Indians could like a friend's photo, share a birthday greeting, or join a community dedicated to Bollywood gossip. But beneath the celebratory surface, warning signs began to emerge. The very features that powered Orkut's meteoric rise also sowed the seeds of its decline. Communities, while fostering engagement, became echo chambers where misinformation and harassment could thrive unchecked. The platform's lack of robust moderation tools meant that spam, fake profiles, and malicious content proliferated, eroding user trust. Moreover, Google's strategic focus drifted elsewhere. The company poured resources into its core search business, Android, and emerging cloud services, leaving Orkut with minimal product updates. In 2008, a pivotal moment arrived when Facebook opened its doors to the global market. Unlike Orkut's static profile pages, Facebook introduced a dynamic news feed, an evolving algorithm that prioritized fresh content, and a sleek mobile experience that resonated with an increasingly smartphone-centric world. Early adopters in Brazil and India quickly noticed the contrast. Facebook's interface felt modern, its privacy controls more transparent, and its network effects, driven by real-name policies and integration with other platforms, created a sense of inevitability. Orkut's response was sluggish. The platform introduced modest tweaks, a redesigned layout in 2009, a Friends of Friends recommendation system, and an attempt to tighten spam filters, but these changes were largely cosmetic. Users who had already begun migrating to Facebook found the new features insufficient to halt the exodus. By 2011, Orkut's monthly active users in Brazil had dropped below 40% of its peak, while Facebook's numbers surged past the 50 million user threshold in the same market. The final blow came in 2014, when Google announced the closure of Orkut, citing the need to focus on products and services that have a larger impact. The decision was abrupt, giving users only a few weeks to download their data before the servers went dark. For many, The shutdown felt like a digital mourning. Communities that had flourished for a decade dissolved overnight. Friendships that had been cultivated in virtual scrapbooks were left without a home, and the familiar orange and white interface that defined a generation's online experience faded into obscurity. Yet the collapse of Orkut was not merely an end. It was a catalyst for a broader transformation in how social media evolved in Brazil and India. The migration of Orkut users to Facebook accelerated the platform's dominance, turning Facebook into the de facto social hub in both countries. The lessons learned from Orkut's rise and fall informed the design of subsequent services. Instagram's emphasis on visual storytelling, WhatsApp's focus on private, encrypted messaging, and TikTok's algorithmic content discovery, all of which sought to avoid the pitfalls that had plagued Google's early experiment. In Brazil, former Orkut communities re-emerged on newer platforms, but the sense of collective identity forged in those early communidades left an indelible mark on the country's digital culture. Brazilian memes, slang, and even political activism bear the imprint of Orkut's grassroots networking. In India, the platform's legacy lives on in the countless diaspora groups that migrated to Facebook and later to WhatsApp, preserving a lineage of connection that began with a simple "add as friend" button. The Orkut saga is a reminder that even the most promising technologies can falter without continual innovation, responsive moderation, and a clear strategic vision. It illustrates how a platform can dominate an entire market, only to be displaced when a competitor offers a more refined experience. Subscribe to The Collapse for more stories like this.